Did you know that in the early 1900s, over 500 carnival workers mysteriously vanished without a trace across America? Their disappearances were never solved, and the only common thread was that each victim worked the night shift at traveling carnivals just before they vanished. The sweet scent of cotton candy, the cheerful melody of carousel music, the excited squeals of children as they chase each other through mazes of twinkling lights and colourful attractions. This is what most people think of when they hear the word carnival. But beneath this façade of joy and wonder lurks something far more sinister, a darkness that has existed since the very first travelling shows rolled into town on midnight trains. I never meant to uncover the truth. I was simply researching an article about the history of American entertainment for my local newspaper, but what I found in those dusty archives and forgotten records has haunted me ever since. What I'm about to share with you isn't just another creepy story. It's a warning about what really happens when the carnival comes to town. It started with an old photograph I found in the county records. Dated 1923, it showed the Wonderland Travelling Carnival during their stop in my hometown of Mill Creek, Pennsylvania. At first glance, it seemed ordinary enough. Smiling faces, carnival tents, a Ferris wheel silhouetted against the evening sky. But when I looked closer, I noticed something strange in the background. Behind the main tent, partially hidden in shadow, stood a group of figures wearing what appeared to be plague doctor masks. They were gathered around something on the ground, though the image was too blurry to make out what it was. That photograph led me down a rabbit hole of research that would consume the next 3 years of my life. I discovered that between 1920 and 1940, 17 different carnivals operated routes that crisscrossed America. Each one had nearly identical layouts, despite being owned by different companies, and each one was connected to a series of disappearances that followed a chilling pattern. The first victim I found record of was Timothy Walsh, a 19-year-old roustabout who worked for Carson's Spectacular Carnival in 1922. According to police reports, Timothy was last seen doing maintenance on the Ferris wheel after hours. The next morning, all that remained was his tool belt, found hanging from the ride's central axis. The strange part: the belt was suspended nearly 40 feet in the air, with no clear way anyone could have climbed up to place it there. 2 weeks later, in a different state, another carnival worker vanished. Then another, and another, always during the night shift, always without witnesses, always leaving behind a single personal item in an impossible location. But it wasn't just the workers who vanished. I uncovered dozens of missing persons reports filed in towns within days of a carnival's departure. Most were young adults or teenagers who had visited the carnival on its last night in town. Police investigations went nowhere. The carnival would be long gone by the time anyone realized something was wrong. The deeper I dug, the more disturbing connections I found. Every carnival involved in the disappearances had purchased their rides and equipment from the same defunct company, Thaddeus Blackwood's Mechanical Marvels. I'd never heard of them before, but according to business records from the early 1900s, they were once the largest manufacturer of carnival rides in America. When I finally tracked down Blackwood's great-granddaughter, living in a nursing home in Vermont, what she told me made my blood run cold. According to family legend, Thaddeus hadn't actually built those rides. He'd discovered them. In 1898, While exploring an abandoned mine shaft in the Appalachian Mountains, he found a massive cavern filled with strange mechanical devices. They were like carnival rides, but wrong somehow. Too angular, too precise, made of metals that shouldn't exist. Thaddeus had the machines excavated and reverse-engineered them to create his carnival empire. But his diary entries, which his great-granddaughter shared with me, suggested he knew they weren't meant for human entertainment. The original devices, he wrote, seemed designed to harvest something from their riders, something he called resonant frequencies of human consciousness. I didn't understand what that meant until I found Dr. Eleanor Martinez's classified research from 1962. She had studied brainwave patterns of carnival visitors and discovered something horrifying. The specific combination of lights, sounds, and motion in carnival rides created unique neural patterns in the human brain. These patterns exactly matched mysterious energy signatures that government scientists had been detecting in the upper atmosphere since the 1920s. The carnival rides weren't meant to entertain. They were meant to attune human consciousness to something else, something that had been waiting and watching for nearly a century. Last month, I finally found proof of what that something was. In a sealed FBI file from 1943, I discovered photographs of what they found beneath Carson's spectacular carnival after it caught fire in Oklahoma. Under the burned remains of the main tent, investigators discovered a vast network of tunnels lined with organic technology far beyond anything that should have existed in the 1940s. The tunnels were filled with thousands of glass containers, each holding what appeared to be human consciousness, preserved in a crystalline form. But most disturbing of all was what they found in the central chamber, a massive device, partially biological, partially mechanical, that seemed to be transmitting these stored consciousnesses somewhere else, somewhere beyond Earth. The carnival rides were never just rides. They were calibration devices, preparing human minds for harvest. And those plague doctor figures I saw in that first photograph? According to the FBI file, they weren't wearing masks at all. Those were their actual faces. I'm sharing this now because I've noticed something terrifying in recent news reports. Carnival companies across the country have begun buying up and restoring vintage rides from the 1920s and 30s. Rides originally manufactured by Thaddeus Blackwood's company. They're starting up again, and this time they're coming to every major city in America. So the next time you hear carnival music in the distance, or see coloured lights twinkling against the night sky, ask yourself, are you ready to know what really happens when the carnival comes to town? If you've ever had a strange or unexplainable experience at a carnival, share it in the comments below. Maybe together we can piece together more of this dark mystery. And don't forget to subscribe for more hidden histories and dark secrets that were never meant to be uncovered. Remember, some rides aren't meant for human enjoyment.